You ready, Aaron?
Yep.
All right, I'm just gonna wing it. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Um, Sorry for being a few minutes late. I'm trying to work with a new setup here and getting some last minute things adjusted. This is still semi-temporary, so just bear with me if there's any audio or visual issues. And let me just make sure that this is going live right now. Does it look like it's live for you, Aaron?
Not yet.
Not yet.
There's a delay though.
There's definitely a delay. Should be live though.
I just mean there's always a delay,
Right.
so it won't show up for a little bit.
Let me go here. Yeah, it's not showing up for me, but I clicked live. Oh, yeah, we're live. Okay.
Yep.
Let me go here. Yeah, it's not showing up for me, but I clicked live. Let me mute that. All right, sorry about that, guys. New setup, everything. So, welcome to the show. This is I mean, a crazy time right now, and we wanted to I think every other week we're gonna start like going live, just Aaron and I, and kind of covering the current events and just keeping up with some of this stuff right now because there's so much to keep up with. The interviews are great. We love interviewing people and stuff, but also I mean, I personally see, and I know Aaron sees it too, a lot of people jumping to conclusions right now with what's happening on the world stage, and rightfully so, because the whole name of the game is to confuse people, and nobody knows what to believe anymore. So, we always like to zoom out and look at it from a higher perspective, and we just want to, provide our insights to you guys so maybe we can help the people who don't really know what's going on understand. I mean, we don't know what's going on either. Honestly, I don't think anybody has the full picture, but we are going to take a different approach and cover some of the wilder theories about what's happening behind the scenes here. They're not wild to us, but I guess to somebody on the outside looking in, they think we're nuts for, jumping to these conclusions. Not that we're jumping to conclusions, but you know what I mean? There's just a lot happening right now, and I feel like there's no way to really get a good glimpse into that unless you start reading between the lines and understanding like this is quite literally a movie. Like there's optics here, and I mean we're talking about like a psyop, an actual psychological operation, but there's a reason behind it, and it might be different than what most people think. So anyway, that's what we're going to kind of cover tonight. How are you doing over there, Aaron?
Doing good. How are you?
Good, good. Just trying to get settled in here in Sedona. So uh, it's been a wild couple weeks, months for me trying to move and do all that stuff, and I'm still not
Yeah.
not fully settled in yet. But uh, here I am. There's no time to take a break now. There's too much happening.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot going on right now.
So, what have you been seeing? What do you think? I guess we can start with the bombing, right? Whenever we attacked Iran's nuclear facilities, something about that whole thing immediately for me seemed off as far as it happened too perfectly, too quickly, and there was no way that like it could have actually happened that fast, especially hearing some of these military people talk and the way it sounds like there's no way they could have even confirmed that those sites were fully taken out in that short amount of time. And it
Right.
almost felt like they were just like following a script in a sense, and I think that might
Yep.
be actually what the case was. So what do you think?
Yeah, 100%. Everything you said, like every detail about it was like a script that they were just following
Case was, so what do you
rather
think?
than what you would expect from an organic playing out of those events, right? Everything from the base itself being so far deep beneath a mountain that not even there's no bombs on Earth that could even penetrate it, right?
Right.
Let alone take it out. So there's that. So it's like it really every detail about it, like you said, seems it's like okay, they already came to deals behind the scenes, and then they just needed to play out something for the world to see because you can't just it kind of goes along with what Q says. You can't just tell people, you have to show them. Well, that's why the movie has to play out because you can't just tell people, oh, hey, we just made this deal. I mean, you could, but I think there's very good reasons why they have to play out this movie for the world, because um, that's just going along with everything's psychological, right? So like,
Right.
it's all psychological chess moves at the end of the day to elicit certain responses to certain goals, right? So, and to move certain things along. So, they play it out as if, oh yeah, we bombed Iran and then took out their base, and now they can't use nukes anymore. It's like, well, they probably did that behind the scenes, and then they played out this show of, oh yeah, we bombed them, when the bombing wasn't what actually did anything. It was just a show, right? So,
Right.
um,
They needed something to tell us. But I think
right,
also, like, the what I was seeing before all this happened is there were a whole bunch of articles and reports going around about how these nuclear facilities in Iran were impenetrable from above, right? They were so far below the ground, a standard
right,
bomb or missile wouldn't even put a dent in it, right? And the fact that we just came in, basically carpet bombed those three areas, flew away, and then, oh, job done. There's that to me of like, okay, that is totally optics. That's what they want. The
yeah,
world who's not paying attention, that's what they want them to believe. Then the day before in Iran, there was an earthquake recorded, a quake recorded. And I would imagine that if those facilities were cleared out in any capacity, it was done in a
mhm,
clandestine way, a private black op, and they went in and possibly uh, whatever they did, cleared the facilities from below, underground.
yeah.
It was all done, like you said, it was already done by the time we got this story about these bombs, right?
Probably using extremely advanced tech that we're not supposed to even know about or
Right.
isn't supposed to exist, like we always say, right? Because again, if they had to tell the full truth of what happened, they would have to also disclose this super advanced reverse engineered ET tech that isn't supposed to exist. Well, obviously, they're not going to do that, right? So they have to be like,
Right.
oh yeah, we bombed it and took it. Like it's, it's not what
Right.
happened.
Right. And then, so I'm going to read, I actually made a post on social media the other day. So I said, if the nuclear facilities in Iran were impenetrable from above with standard bombs, what really happened? Trump said in his little address to the nation, there's no military in the world that could have done what we did tonight, not even close. There's never been a military that can do what took place just a while ago. And I'm thinking to myself, he's hinting at some form of advanced weaponry or technology, or maybe even direct energy weapons that were
Right.
and a
Exactly.
number of things. Maybe they portaled into the base behind enemy lines through a Stargate. I mean, you can jump to the wildest conclusions, but there's a reason he said there's no other military, which I think that might be him trying to tell people without telling them that we have access to technologies
Mhm.
that these other militaries don't, at least at this point in time.
And I would say that, and we're probably partnered with very advanced ET races that no other country is as well.
Yeah.
So we have this like massive upper hand that no other country has, I think is what he's alluding to there. Yeah.
Right. So I went on to say, was he hinting at a far more sophisticated attack using advanced weaponry, or possibly even an attack from below underground? Could that explain the quake in Iran yesterday? In my opinion, what happened tonight was merely a display of power and a scripted political move to fuel the narrative, a narrative that is based on little truth, if any at all. The nukes are much more likely an old, tired narrative or a cover story, one that we will always continue to fall for, while the real reason behind this conflict may be dealing with things on and off this planet that aren't supposed to exist. And nukes actually might not have anything to do with what's going on, but they know that that's the clickbait that everyone's going to fall for. Nuclear war, it's the oldest trick in the
Hmm.
book as far as the cabal goes.
Exactly. Yeah, Trump, like Lily said that magnificent machines they use to bomb. Um, so the magnificent machines,
Right.
the term he's going with.
Exactly. Thank you, Lily.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's seriously, what are the magnificent machines, right? So I don't even know where to start. I have a bunch of notes here. I'm going to share my screen and play a couple little videos and clips and stuff. But um, honestly, what it felt like to me was the way how fast it happened. It almost felt like Trump was fulfilling a contract. It was like It was like,
Yeah.
here's the story, here's the narrative that you have to feed to the public, make it happen. And he's like,
Hmm.
okay, I'll play along. And he creates this whole, war scenario, and it's like boom, 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 done. We have peace.
Yeah.
I did what you wanted me to do, almost like he was
Yeah.
just like had orders in a sense.
Yeah.
But also, there was all this talk about this from these psychics and channelers and stuff, talking about a 12-year war starting in 2025. I started
Mhm.
seeing that go around. And it was very interesting to me that Trump turned it into a 12-day war.
Yeah.
And he kept talking
Yeah.
about this will be known as the 12-day war. He took it from a long drawn out 12-year deep state
Hmm.
plan to 12 days. All right, we're done. We don't have to feed
Done.
everybody this fake script anymore. Like we did it. Like so whatever's going on behind the scenes, I see so many people getting triggered about all this, Iran and Israel and the religions and the holy wars and all this stuff. And yeah, there is something to it, and there are people involved, but at the highest level, like Trump said, they've been at war for so long they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And uh,
Right.
it's funny.
Right. It's just like they like it's like it's like generations of like let's say your family is enemies to like another family and then you're just born into it and you're just like programmed your whole life to hate that family but you don't even know why. It's just been so long. You're just like, oh, I'm fighting you, but I don't really even know why I hate you. It's kind of like that.
Right.
And until you wake up and realize, wait, what are we doing? Like, why are we even, what's the basis of this in the first place? So yeah, another reason I think the optics are so necessary here is because, I mean, look at well, let's start here. So the modern day state of Israel, which is not the same thing as the Israel from the Bible, and that's a whole other topic, but the modern day state of Israel, which was created in 1948, I believe, shortly after World War II, was a Rothschild creation. This is a fact. The Rothschilds created the modern day state of Israel as basically just an excuse to create unrest in the Middle East and start World War III and to fulfill all their agendas, right?
And
They
play
needed some excuse, right?
and play out Revelations,
And play out
a
Revelation,
fake
right?
version of Revelations, right?
Right. So they're like, oh, we'll call it Israel, and everyone will think it's actually Israel of the Bible, and we'll
Right.
get all the Christians to support it and think it's actually Israel, and it's not. It has nothing to do. But they can easily dupe all the Jews into thinking it's their homeland and all this stuff. And it's none of those things. It's literally just an excuse for the satanic elite to fulfill their agendas. And that's why it was created right after World War II, because they're like, all right, we didn't really fully accomplish what we wanted to with World War II, so we need to do this to create another war and then fulfill all our agendas from there. And they've been trying to start World War III ever since it was created, ever since, and they've been thwarted all along the way. But that's who they are. They're gonna keep trying and trying and trying. And this is them like a last ditch effort. They're like, we're gonna do this Hail Mary and it's gonna work this time. We're gonna do it.
Right.
Nope, didn't work again. And they needed that excuse of Iran having nukes, and they've been saying this for over 30 years now. You can go back to the early 90s and look at headlines, and it's like Iran's months away from having nukes. They're so close. There's all this evidence that they're gonna get nukes really soon, and it's a threat, and we got to do this because they're a threat. They've been trying this for a long time. So now they're trying it again. They're like, "Oh, Iran has nukes, so we got to start World War III."
Right.
Guess what Trump did? He's like, "All right, I'm gonna publicly." So even though what really happened, what we just said, is not the bombing, it's something else
Right.
that took that out. But whether they had nukes or not is almost irrelevant, right? Whatever deals were made is what's relevant. But publicly, since Israel's public psyop was that Iran has nukes, there had to be a public disarming of that, a
Right.
public taking out of their chess piece there, right? So Trump goes, okay, cool. I'll make the public narrative that we took out your nukes or your ability to use nukes. Now what do you got? Nothing. That's
Right.
it. Done. Game over. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, he disarmed them. He took away their whole reason to even have a war in the first place. Is
Right.
publicly in
Right.
the public eye. So,
They got nothing else. Right.
right. And there's so many people out there that just can't accept that there's like another story behind this, and that's the fake narrative. And whenever you sometimes present this information to people, they can't see outside of that. They just create a new problem for that solution. And
Right.
it's like it's almost like you're addicted to needing a problem. We need some sort of conflict. And even at home watching the TV, if somebody comes on and says, "All right, we're gonna like actually experience peace and unity and moving forward, that's the goal." People like as a trauma response, they're like, there's no
Hmm.
way that can actually be. There's something else going on. People look really hard into it and they try to find the worst case scenario, and then they start spiraling in their own algorithm and they
Right.
perpetuate more of that stuff and they don't even realize that they're blinded by the details and
Right.
they've gotten lost in it, and it's really sad to see people do that. But there's lessons in it for everybody, and everybody, what's happening within so without. So if somebody's struggling in life, it's gonna look very negative because it's just like they're angry about something in their own life, so they're taking that anger out on the world stage.
Right.
And
Plus, I've noticed it's become really like cool in recent times to just think that there's never any good guys on that level. Everyone's in on it. It's basically like being a doomer, even though a lot of these people would deny that they're a doomer or a black pillar. Um, because they're like, no, I'm not that. I believe, and to be fair, a lot of their principles I 100% subscribe. I'm like, yeah, the whole like let's say anarchist values and principles of like I no one it has an authority over me. I am my own authority, self-sovereignty, government is illegitimate, blah blah blah. It's like yes, 100%. But what they don't realize is that this system is in place. It's already in place, and you're not gonna what this system is way too big, it's way too entrenched to just like do anything about it other than transmuting it from within, right?
right.
That's the only way. And that's what's happening. That's what this is. But there's so many people are like that think like that. I totally agree with their mindset. But what they cannot get, they can't see it. Plus, it's become cool to just hate everything that happens always and say it's all a psyop always and nothing
And
ever good can
like
happen.
but like that person somehow has all the answers though.
Right.
Yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
know they act like they know 100% what's going on all the time, which they don't. Right. Uh but they don't see that no, you have to change it from within to a certain degree. And that's
Right.
what's happening. That's what I think Trump and the White Hats are doing. But it's easy to see things about Trump on the surface level and make jump to a conclusion. Like again, like you said, you they think they know exactly what's going on. Oh, he's just one of them, and he's just psyoping everybody and playing
And
into the evil agendas and blah blah
And
blah.
but also I want to add to that we don't also we you and I obviously we don't have the full picture either. So there's things that we don't know and that we could be missing as well. And there's so many layers to it that we are
Right,
just never supposed to know about and we're totally unaware of. And there could be something else going on, but we're not claiming to understand this fully. We're just trying to help the audience understand that, it might not be all doom and gloom always. And this might be a literal movie playing out, and we're going to get into some of the Q stuff, and I know that even triggers people, but that the Q stuff still is remaining relevant and it keeps getting proved over and over again. So before we
right.
do that, you sent me this and I found it interesting. Um, so this is from Clandestine at War Clandestine on X. And he said, my father is a retired Army officer. He was EOD nuclear, also worked for the Department of Energy. He still has a Q clearance, which is also a very real clearance, if anybody didn't know that. We talked last night, and he's astonished by what we just witnessed. He said that's not the way war works. It was too perfect. Not just the kinetic aspect of it, but the information warfare and media misdirection while maintaining the narrative and managing public perception, in addition to juggling untold layers of theater. It was an absolute masterclass in fifth generation warfare. 5G warfare, fifth generation warfare, not 5D chess, which is could be same thing, right? Same difference. I don't think most people, myself included, can fully wrap their minds around the amount of planning that went into this entire operation and the amount of variables that had to be accounted for. The airstrikes were, without a doubt, the easiest element of this operation. The hard part was the information psychological element. The real war was in the media and on social media. The internet was the battlefield. He said that witnessing these past 2 weeks unfold has made him believe that all parties involved in this conflict must have already agreed to a deal behind closed doors. And what we just witnessed was probably a massive scripted theater, a controlled war, quote unquote war. The US, Iran, Israel, and all the superpowers, including Russia, China, Saudi Arabia, and probably more, were almost assuredly in the loop the entire time. There was never a real risk of US military getting dragged into a ground war, and World War III was never going to happen. Trump had the entire war won before it took place, and the entire operation was secure. The deal was already agreed to. The entire thing was scripted and executed with flawless military precision. Trump had complete control of the situation the entire time, and warfare has advanced into an entirely new realm, far beyond the comprehension of the public. The entire world just got psyoped, and most of them will never know it. I mean, I wholeheartedly agree with that. Um, what do you think?
There you go. Yeah. I mean, there you just have an someone who's would know, right?
Right.
An insider who would absolutely know what the heck he's talking about here, from viewing what happens. Just say it right there. He just said it.
And
Like
then,
that's a
right.
show you just watched.
So then we have weird things like this. This Marine gets awarded an Emmy. I mean, Marine, a U.S. Marshal receives an Emmy. That's strange. And he received it for uh, USMS Office of Public Affairs received the Emmy for Best Crime Justice Short Form Content for the
There
for the
you go.
short form film since 1789. U.S. Marshal. Interesting that a U.S. Marshal would receive an Emmy, right? And then
Right.
there's also the Q drop that says Emmy Awards, red carpet event, So there's always, another Q
And then
connection.
Trump is always saying central casting
Yeah, so
over and over.
I'm gonna play one of the videos where he says that. The music's super annoying on this, but it's a bunch of example the music that people put over the video. But it's a great example of all the times Trump has said central casting, and I'm only going to play for the people out there watching who haven't seen this yet. So ignore the annoying music and just pay attention to what Trump is saying here. Oops, hang on. You can't see that, can you? It opened up on my other screen.
No.
Okay, hang on, let me pause that. Okay, I don't know what just happened here. I'm not sure why that just pulled over there. Sorry, guys. Had a weird, there it is. Okay. You can see that now, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like central casting.
Central, hey, you know what? And he's central casting. Look at that guy, central casting.
And these are central casting. If I'm doing a movie, I pick you, General.
What makes a good movie?
Central casting.
Very impressive. Oh, you're central casting. Look at this guy.
This man's central casting. I watch him all the time. Central casting. He's a real talent, a real guy, and he is central casting. Do we agree? Central casting.
They're central casting, the red suspenders, handsome, beautiful, smart. You couldn't get better central casting.
He is great in every way, and he's central casting. I mean, this is a man that was born for the position.
No, he was central casting like the perfect Supreme Court judge. These guys are central casting. There's nobody in Hollywood that looks like these people. And they're central casting. I've never seen a group of people like this. Everyone's in perfect shape.
My friend, central casting, I always call him central casting. Boy, is that central casting, let's say it.
Does he look like central casting?
So this goes on for another minute or over another minute. So you get the point. Trump says it a lot, and he just said it again today with the king and queen. And
Yep.
I actually will play that clip because it's real short. Um, I don't know why that's opening up over here now. That's so dumb. Okay. I'm going to stop my share for a second and start over with the share. I'm just going to share the entire screen. Um, Share. That's that one.
I also want to read Michael Sala's
I,
latest.
yeah, I have that actually
Whoa. Oh, you got it. Okay.
that shared as well.
Awesome.
Okay, what do you see right now, Aaron?
Black screen.
A black screen?
Yep.
Do you see the
Nope. Now I see it.
okay, you see the Trump thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful people, central casting, I must say. Very nice. We had a great time. I had breakfast this morning with the king and queen, and they're incredible people. I said, you're central casting. Beautiful people, great people, big, beautiful heart. I actually had.
Okay, so anyway, let me stop the share again just because it's kind of a mess right now. So yeah, just another example of okay, like we're seeing a movie, right? And Trump's been saying it all along.
It's like he's trying to tell everyone, he's like, I can't come out and say it, but I'm gonna say this word, this phrase, over and over and over and over and over again.
Do
It's
you,
like he's been
right.
telling us the whole time, guys.
And in the Q drops all
In the
throughout.
Q drops.
You're watching a movie, what makes a good movie? Optics are key, all that stuff. So I do have a revelation slash theory about Q that I want to share with everybody. But before that, do you have Dr. Salah's thing pulled up?
I
All
do.
right.
I
Yeah,
do.
if you just want to read that.
Yeah.
So this is a post he recently made, I guess, what, yesterday?
Yesterday, yeah. Yep. So Dr. Michael Salla posted yesterday, President Donald Trump did a lot more than merely bring about a ceasefire between Israel and Iran after only days earlier launching an attack on Iran's nuclear facilities. Iran was the final state that was to fall in a deep state plot that involved seven Muslim nations, according to what Jen Wesley Clark learned from Pentagon generals in 2001. After the fall of Iran, all would be set for the Gog and Magog end times war, which would pit Israel against a consortium of nations, Gog and Magog. Israel and Iran war was launched by the deep state in a last-ditch attempt to start the Gog and Magog war, aka World War III. That's what I added there. Trump's attack on Iran, its token response, and subsequent ceasefire have neutralized the attempt to start a Gog and Magog war. Many suspect that events were orchestrated. In fact, evidence suggests Trump and an Earth alliance involved Presidents Putin, Xi, etc., worked with Trump to allow the war to start, but to then quickly neutralize it. The Gog and Magog event has come as predicted in scripture and fizzled into a big nothing burger. It can't be recreated. And so the deep state has played its big end times card and failed. Will a contrived extraterrestrial salvation event be the next card the deep state plays? A whirlwind 48 hours. Okay, so then that's just
Right.
a little article you shared. Yeah, exactly what I just said. They played their big World War III card trying to start it and failed. Trump was like, nope, done, can't do that. And what do they got left? And he's speculating the only thing they may have left is a fake alien invasion, which is what we've been hearing about for years. But I would add that I personally do not think they have that ability. I think that was made sure a long time ago, in my opinion, that they won't be able to just throw that one out there as soon as the World War III doesn't work, because of course they would do that if they could.
Right.
But we'll see.
Yeah. So I mean, I agree too, and we'll just have to wait and see. But nothing is as it seems on the surface. So Trump just said
Right.
this, and hopefully you can hear it. I'm going to play it really quick.
Fantastic. But I said,
You hear
on
that?
interest, I said, why
Yep.
couldn't we, if a car is made in the United States only, because otherwise we don't care if it's made someplace else, give the people that buy the car a deduction on the interest that they're paying to buy the car. And people said, what a great idea. It's so simple. It's like the paperclip. Somebody came up with the idea of a paperclip many years ago, 1817, and he became a very rich person. And everybody looked at it.
Okay, so 1817, and obviously everybody looks it up. So paper clips were invented in the 1890s, 1817. So first thing I did was Q post 1817. What does that say? I just went, typed in, Q alerts and um, right here, Q post 1817. This is from August 5th, 2018. Fellow patriots, what you are about to learn should not only scare you, but intensify your resolve to take back control, freedom. The information that will become public will further demonstrate the criminal and corrupt, pure evil abuse of power that the Hussein administration undertook in joint efforts with domestic and foreign dignitaries. The snowball has begun rolling. There is no stopping it now. D5, stay the course and trust the plan. Protective measures are in place. Remain brave. We knew this day would come. United we stand. Where we go one, we go all. We fight. Conspiracy no more. Just interesting. Obviously, it could be a stretch that he said 1817 and he was referring to the Q drop, but it's always interesting how the Q drop is relevant whenever people do that dig. In this case, I immediately thought to look it up. So, uh, if that's the
Yeah.
case, what? Go ahead, Aaron.
No, that's to me, that's exactly it's like I don't think Trump makes mistakes, unlike what some people think. Um, I think it's very meticulously done. He said 1817 for a very specific reason. It could even be that, but it could even have double or triple, like I
Right,
think that happens a lot too, where it even lines up with something else as well.
right. And The Art of War, this book here that's not going to show up because of the way this camera is, um, it lays out perfectly like how, you would deceive your enemy and like it's comms and all that stuff. But it's interesting. I think it's more of the Art of War stuff. But I do want to share I want to share my Q revelation. I was driving the other night in the middle of the night and it hit me like a ton of bricks. Because Q always says save Israel for last. It's always been the
Hmm.
thing. Everybody's been waiting for Israel. Okay, now we're at that part of the movie. Well,
Yeah.
Israel's last. I'm like, well, wait a second. If Israel's last, like, why hasn't any of the other things actually played out yet? Like some of the stuff we've been waiting for, including Hillary Clinton being arrested and some of these other arrests and some of these other things. And I'm like, oh my God, it just hit me. Think mirror, right? They're always saying think mirror. I'm like,
Hmm.
what if the entire effing operation is mirrored and Israel is first and it
It's the
ends
start.
and it
Yeah.
ends with Hillary getting arrested, which was the very first Q drop.
Hmm.
So what if we're just getting going here? And like all these things that we've been waiting for, the entire operation was mirrored the entire time. So Israel isn't last, it's quite literally the beginning. And if you view time as a loop, and that's how you time travel anyway, because it has to be a loop if you understand
Hmm.
like the quantum physics of that. Um, if you view it
Yeah.
as a loop, then the beginning would be the ending anyway.
Right. Well,
And we're,
it
yeah,
also makes right, exactly. And it also makes sense to me on a from a logistical stance as far as like, okay, all the people we see on the surface level, Hillary, Obama, George Soros, Bill Gates, Epstein, all of these people, even Klaus Schwab and the WEF people, they're just pawns. Anyone we're seeing out in the public like that is a very low level pawn. Even though they seem like they're so high up and they're in charge, they're not. They're a puppet. So the real cleanup is happening way above, it's levels way beyond those people, right?
right,
So to me, the cleanup, you can't, you're not going to start with the most superficial layer of the control system and then work your way up. That's not how you're going to do it.
right,
Because then you're going to give them all kinds of time in the world to like you're focused on the superficial layer while no, like the real cleanup's been happening for a long time on the levels that we can't see behind. That's why so much we always say is happening behind the scenes that you're not seeing, but it's happening. And then there's things playing out from that, effects from that get played out on the surface level that we can see, and then we have to figure out what's really going on, blah blah blah. Well, I think we're now at a point where most, if not all, of the cleanup has happened now on those levels. And now the surface level is going that we're going to really see what we've all been waiting for is can happen because it's the levels above them have already been cleaned out enough, right?
right.
And now you can see Hillary Clinton, Obama, Soros, Bill Gates,
All the
Klaus Schwab,
names we've
Epstein.
been, whether or not they're
Uh,
whether or not their host or the original one has been arrested already or taken out, like the clone or the puppet is still propped up in the public eye. And I think the public
Right.
arrest or whatever that's going to look like, that's we're now in that phase.
Right.
Hopefully, I mean,
Hopefully.
and if my theory's right, then it would only make sense. And then eventually Hillary Clinton will be locked up or executed or hung in the street, like
Hmm.
all these theories, whatever the case is. Um, I feel like it's just a movie, but it's also this is the way it was always going to happen. And like somebody just said in the comments, future proves past, right? That's another
Hmm.
Q post. And we know if anybody watched our webinar, time travel, like it's a quantum mission, right? This couldn't have been done without some form of time travel or timeline technology. You need to have an edge on an ancient deep state satanic cabal, and you need to use their technology that they've been using against us against them, right? And
Right.
actually, the latest Andor series, one of the, I forgot the guy's character. He was like the main guy behind taking down the rebellion, and he was like the unsung hero because he had to become them to take them down and use their own
Hmm.
weapons and strategies against them.
Right.
And a lot of people thought that he was like betraying the rebellion, but not understanding like that was the only way he could do it. He had to become them. He had to use their own weapons against them and use their own like psychological, psychopathic strategies to take down the empire. So that's what has to happen
Hmm.
in real life. Like you can't just like be this good guy and come in and ride in on a horse as a knight and like save the day. You know what I mean? It's
It doesn't work like
nasty.
that.
It's nasty
Right.
and dirty. And the real work, the real the real heroes are always going to be unsung. We may
Right.
never know who these people were, or are. So I feel like there's a lot of that happening and it like this surface level. Oh, we flew over, which I found interesting. They flew out of Missouri, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Wyman Air Force Base. I'm like, that's really interesting. But they, we flew over there nonstop. We bombed them and came back and landed, and we're done. Every world peace. It's laughable, right? Yeah,
Right. Exactly. And really it's a spiritual war above all of
right.
these things. And um just like Ed Spina says, he's like, I know we're moving into the golden age because I work in the higher realms every day and it's pretty much all cleared out now. It's like he can see it. He works in it every day. And he's like, whatever happens there always, not sometimes, not most of the time, always manifests down here, which is the most dense layer, because that's how reality works.
Right.
That's just how reality works. Sorry, that's how it works. If you don't agree, I'm sorry, but everything is energy. Everything that at the highest realms, what happens there always manifests here because it's as above, so below. It's all connected, right? So,
Hmm.
so when the higher realms get cleared out of all the darkness and all the, not all, but then let's just say most, and the control factor of it up there, well, that's going to manifest down here. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of how is it going to play out and how long is it going to take, but it's going to happen. And it looks like definitely it's happening quicker than a lot of people I think expected. Depending on how old you are, I'd say within all of our lifetimes, but I definitely think within the next, I think 10 years from now, 5 to 10 years from now, we're going to be looking at a world that's so different to what we've always known that it's going to be almost like an unrecognizable based on what we know at this point in time. That's what I believe.
Right. And I'm not trying to claim that this is all done like it's going to be easy. Like there's absolutely going to be pushback and
And we're a
war.
part of it.
Yeah, but I mean,
We're all part of it, by the
with
way.
us, but I'm saying even
Yeah.
in like even on the world stage and like
Yeah.
there's going to be pushback. It's not over. Like it's going to get very rocky still, like it has been. And I mean, we're literally like the machine's going to consume itself, but they're also not going to go down without a fight. And that's just what
Right.
it looks like. And like, what did
Right.
people expect it to look like? Did they really think it was just going to be that easy? Like we just,
Super smooth sailing. They're
right.
just gonna willingly surrender without a fight. No,
And
it's
without having
not.
the full picture, none of us had the full picture. We don't know the politics and the infighting within the private sector and these
Right.
corporations and even these royal families and people that don't like that see like Princess Diana. She wanted out. She didn't agree with what her family was doing, right? Like there's so much of
Hmm.
that stuff happening and people get sucked into this stuff and they're blackmailed into these positions and they can't tell the truth because their family is in danger. There's so much
Hmm.
of that that nobody takes into consideration, and they just get mad at Trump because he's like, he's the leader, right? But like he can actually do something about all of that. Like if I put you in charge of a room of 50 people, and like that's impossible because what's going to happen? Like the group is going to get divided into little cliques and groups and everybody, and then they might start, their own little agendas, whatever, and people are going to start fighting, and there's going to be drama. And then how does
Right.
anybody expect you to take control of a room of 50 people? Like
Right.
it's impossible like to control and how everyone's going to respond to the decisions that you make for the entire group. And people are
Right.
inevitably going to point the finger at you and get mad at you because you're in that position, not understanding like what kind of weight that actually is on somebody, right? So,
Right.
yeah,
And there is no such thing as control at the end of the day. It's an illusion. You can't control what someone else does. I mean, you can throw them in a cage and you can do things like that, but like at the end of the day, you can't control a massive population. All you can do is do these psyops, psychological things to, and so what the negative service to self oriented, whatever you want to call it, does is it it tries to control through deception, through through fear, so threat of violence and force, or and played out in that in instances, deception, fear, and greed, money, all the rest of it, right?
right,
Violence. But what um true power does is it leads by um it
example,
leads people by
right,
example, but by connecting with people on a deep level, by making them want to follow you
right,
and want you as their leader.
right,
So, but that's not control. That's true power, and that's what people are magnetically drawn to that. And they're like, yeah, I'm going to follow that person
right,
because I resonate with them. Not like,
exactly,
oh, I'm gonna do what they say because I'm afraid of what's going to happen if I don't. See the difference?
yeah,
So we're moving into that world, whereas we've known for thousands of years on the planet is the fear-based control
right,
system, but we're moving out of, but the fear-based control system doesn't want to go. Obviously, it's like no. So it's trying to start World War III, and it's trying to, and Trump just represents the greater force. He's just playing one role in it, but
right,
he kind of represents it because of the role he's playing. So he's getting all the hatred of the people that are triggered by him and all the attacks of the dark that because he's like the thing standing in their way, right?
right. Well, and I was gonna say, crap, I just
But
forgot.
he is being that leader. He is being a true leader, in my opinion, and he is, he's triggering what needs to be triggered in everyone, and
And
he's doing things that he knows are going to elicit a certain response from multiple parties, right?
right. And
For very
Mark
specific
just said in the
reasons.
comments, there are so many country or countless variables going on. The human mind can't really grasp it. That's kind of what that guy
Right.
said on Exo, where we just read a while ago. There's a lot going on. We can't grasp it. And I actually love
Hmm.
the fact that people might disagree with this and they might think it's the wrong reason to like Trump, but I like how he talks to humans like they're human. And he
Yeah.
says things like what he just said, no president has ever been that candid and said, we have two countries who have been at war for so long that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like
Right.
that's like he's just sick of it. It's like, all right, here we go. Just like they've had enough and then they just put it out there that Joe Biden was a clone. Like we're tired of like tiptoeing around and walking on eggshells. They're just gonna
Right.
start like treating us like we're humans and not like we're some like just take the political theater out of it, right?
The truth is messy. The truth isn't PC, and the blunt truth can be unpleasant to hear from some people. But guess what? It's the truth, and that whatever is triggered, whatever people are triggered are should be triggered by it. Need to be triggered. And
Right,
you see a lot of people on the left like all triggered because he said that. Well, good. They need to be triggered because guess what? It's the truth, and he's being honest and real, and that's what we need. We don't need more fake politicians that are serving shadowy groups that don't have your best interest in mind, which is all we've had
right,
until Trump, right? Now we actually have somebody that's trying to free humanity from that very enslavement system And people that don't understand that because they don't think for themselves, they don't do their own research, and they've been programmed by that very system, are triggered by Trump. Like of course they're going to be
Right.
triggered by Trump.
Right. Well,
They need to be. They need to be triggered enough so that they start waking up and be like, wait a second, why am I really so triggered by this? What is really going on here? Maybe
so
there's more than I've been told, right? And then you gotta. That's why Q, from the get-go, what did Q do? It asked question after question after question to get you thinking on these tracks, right? To get you
right.
thinking for yourself, not just tell you everything that's going on and have you just believe it like a dogma, right?
Right.
It's like trying to get you to think for yourself and figure out for yourself, become your own leader, figure out what's going on, and then you're now a beacon of light in this world, right?
Right. Exactly.
And that's what we need. We need people waking up to that, to their true selves, and to
So
become
I want to
their own
play
sovereign
this.
beings.
I want to play this. It's a 4-minute clip, so everyone bear with us. But it's fantastic. This is the Truth Freedom podcast. I apologize for not getting the actual name right, but um, this is actually a call in to this podcast. This is months ago, right? But this couple called in and broke down the final act of this movie we're watching in great detail. And I resonate with it. And I think this person is on to something. So I'm going to play this and just let everyone listen to it because it's profound, really. And it's just a call in. Like this wasn't the guest on the show. This is somebody who just called in, which I find even more interesting.
The building of leading up to. So here's one thing I want to tell you. There's an observation that I've made that the White Hats have done on purpose, and that is that they've had audience A, which I believe we call the normies, and audience B, which I would believe us. And the reason why I think that we are annoyed to a certain extent with this movie is...
You don't hear anything?
No, I don't hear anything.
Okay, that's weird. Thank you, though.
I didn't know if we were still waiting. I was like,
oh no, sorry. Yeah, I apologize.
I
don't know why that happened. Maybe I didn't share the audio that time when I shared the screen. Let me try it again. Share sound. Okay. I'm gonna try.
There you
it
go.
again.
Now the screen's actually shared.
Oh, okay. It wasn't shared
before.
Oh, that's weird. Okay. Sorry, guys. Apologize for that. Starting over. Now it's not playing.
The building of leading up to. So here's one thing I want to tell you. There's an observation that I've made that the White Hats have done on purpose, and that is that they've had audience A, which I believe we call the normies, and audience B, which I would believe us. And the reason why I think that we are annoyed to a certain extent with this movie is because Q gave us kind of the script already. We already have seen the movie in a way. We've already emotionally arrived at many of the places that we are waiting for our friends, colleagues, loved ones, spouses, whatever, to get to. And when you run into people who don't want to hear what you have to say, it's like, have you ever been to the movies with someone that's already seen the movie? Do you want them to tell you how it ends? Do you want them to tell you how the next big event is going to happen? No. You paid for the movie. That's the experience you want to go to. The audience, in order to be able to believe on both sides, on us too, because I think at some point the writers of this movie are going to bring both audiences together and we're going to be rooting for the same team. But right now we're not. But we have to believe that the enemy has unleashed everything onto his villain or onto his defeat, or the hero. We know some of the things that the enemy has in his quiver, and they're horrible. The normies are just starting to see that. They have to get to a point through this part of the third act to where that enemy unleashing all he has on the field, because if he doesn't, then it doesn't feel believable when the hero defeats him. And on the other hand, the hero has to defeat him with something that we never really saw coming, but when we think back, oh yeah, that made sense. Oh yeah, he did talk about that. oh yeah, he did possess that skill and we kind of blew it off. But it's got to be something that we really are like, wow, that was brilliant. We never really saw that coming. That's the only thing he could have done to defeat the enemy in order for us to believe it. Otherwise, we're like, that's really vapid. So I just think about what we've learned, what we know, what we've heard about what Trump is doing, kind of hinting at, might give us an idea that we're going to be in for one hell of a wild ride, guys. And people have to be willing to understand that if we find out that they are willing to go through what they did to try to kill 8 billion people, what is the climax going to look like where we're nail biting? And here's where I think the change is going to happen when they bring the two audiences together. And that is when the normies finally realize, and I think they've done this on purpose and not doing this and letting them go through what they're going through to reach this, when they finally realize that the people that they have been rooting for and separating their families over and everything are the very people, the evil people that they think are the heroes, and they realize that's actually the enemy, that's when they're going to be really they're going to be cheering for Trump louder than we are. And that's when we finally, I think, are going to be at the same point. And once that reveal happens, then we're going on the climax ride, folks, because they have to bring everybody together to be cheering.
So, I mean,
Exactly.
Exactly. Mic drop. And that's such a fascinating call into that episode. And that clip has gone pretty viral, actually. And I think that that's a very healthy approach to what's going on. I think that's exactly how it's playing out. Also, this whole thing in the Middle East too is a whole other element to this is, that's where allegedly all the portals and stargates are. And that whole area has been, they've been warring in that region of the world because that's where it's the most concentrated area of portals and stargates. And they're fighting over access to those, allegedly. Carrie Cassidy talks about it in her book, Rebel Gene, through obviously whistleblower information. And Daryl James, who we've had on a number of times, that's what he was told when he was in the military about the portals over there. So that is just like, okay, replace nukes with stargates, and that makes a lot more sense, but we're not supposed to know that stargates exist. So, I mean, there's so many other layers to this. And I actually have that clip from Daryl right here. Let me
Because modern day Iraq is
Arch of Babylon.
Babylon.
Right.
And that's why Babylon was there, in my opinion, is because there was a powerful Stargate and energetic point there that the Dark took control of, and that's where they had their control system based out of. Makes sense, right?
Right. So let me
they've had it ever since until now, and now it's being cleaned up for the first time in a long time.
Hang on. It's one of those clips that's not letting me rewind, so it has to like play out first. It's not that important. Let me just see if I can exit out and come back to it. But yeah, I agree with you, Aaron. I mean, okay, let's try this again. Hopefully you can see this still.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Arch of Babylon that they put in the courtyard of the Vatican was an active portal. And the reason that we can't use or see these portals is because we're third density beings. He said that I had to be put into that density chamber to be pushed into fifth to even be able to use a portal. Otherwise, I just would have fell out of the reptile's hand. He just would have went through and I just would have fell on the ground, is how he described it. And he also said the reason why the Middle East is so disputed is because it has the highest concentration of portals on the earth. And that's why there's always conflict and war. It has nothing to do with, oil or anything like that. It has to do with these portals. That's what he told me. Yeah, it's active all the time, and we just can't use or see it. And he described portals to me. It's like you walk into the portal, and then you cease to exist, and just your soul passes through. And then when you get to the other side of the portal, your body just comes back. And I asked him, like, how does that happen? He said he didn't know, but that's just the way it works. It's like you only your consciousness, your soul actually passes through the portal itself, and then the body just comes back at the end of the portal. Yeah, when you're active duty, like in the space program and everything, you go into a med bed about once a week to realign your DNA and everything because you go through so many jumps and portals and everything like that.
So just interesting, another data point where somebody's also, claiming that the highest concentrated highest concentration of portals is in the Middle East, and that's why it's so heavily disputed. So I think that I know that's a stretch for some people to actually, buy into that narrative, right? But all things on the table at this point.
To those people, I would say start doing your own research, and I think you'll find this stuff is all real.
Is my can you see?
Your screen went off for
Right.
some reason.
I see that. Okay, there's that camera. Let me
Oh,
switch.
you're back. You're
Well,
back.
I'm switching cameras. Okay. Yeah.
No.
Like I said, this is like a temporary setup. I'm still getting used to it. So it's all whatever. I'm figuring it out. But anyway, so I mean, yeah, I don't know if there's anything else that I really had on the list to cover right now. I know there's so many things we could get into and get into the political side of like all the details about what's going on. But at the end of the day, a lot of that stuff is just out there. So we debate and argue and, and conspire about it and all that stuff. So I think that it's kind of a waste of time to really start breaking down all this stuff and get involved in such a level to where it becomes like you're hyper fixated on and you have to know everything that happens next immediately. And everybody's jumping to
Right.
conclusions and having knee-jerk reactions because they rely on that trigger, right? They rely on that knee-jerk reaction and our lack of self-awareness to take the bait and get really angry about these issues, and then
Right.
bam, they've controlled us. They have us
They
controlled.
got you.
Yeah,
Exactly. That's the trap.
right.
The last thing they want is for us to be unified and on a love frequency, but you can really only be unified on a love frequency
Right.
because lower frequencies are disunity by their nature. So if enough of us get on that frequency and stop fighting each other, and no matter our differences come together on a basis of love, it's game over. And I feel like we're already at that threat. We've already crossed that threshold. Now we're just seeing things play out where they're trying desperately to get us back down in frequency, right? So that they
Right.
can divide and control us again. But they can't do it. They can't. They're trying everything they can, but it's like, sorry guys, we got all the momentum already moving up with as the planet itself we're on is ascending as well
Well,
to
it
make that
only
decision. We're on the planet, so you're either going to go with the planet or you got to go somewhere else after, at least after this lifetime, and incarnate somewhere else. So like all the momentum of the planet we're on, the where our solar system is moving through the part of the galaxy is a higher frequency, higher energetic part. We're at a point in time even where it's like an ascension window. It's a very powerful energetic point in time, in my opinion, where we're at on the planet. And that's why those of us that are starseeds or whatever, like we incarnated, in my opinion, at this time for a specific reason to help
oh
with the shift, right?
yeah, I did
The
want
dark is trying desperately to get us to shift into this negative timeline that they control, but it's not, in my opinion, it's not going to work. It's just going to be more of a catalyst to speed up
so
the
I
awakening.
want to bring up something too. For one, this whole thing in Iran was like the plot of the Top Gun Maverick movie.
That's right.
And before I even saw the post, I thought the same thing. I'm like, that's exactly what they did in Top Gun. They go the uranium deposit and all this stuff. And like even the way they attacked it, it was very much like it was almost predictive programming. They put
Yeah.
it out there so it's something that we can believe in and connect with, even if it's on a subconscious level, right? Um,
Right.
and but also what I've noticed about the Mission Impossible movies over the years is they always seem to be released with something that they correspond with something that's going on in the real world.
Right.
And this latest one, and spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, but I did because I just might as
You
well complete the
you
series.
and I saw it
Yeah,
together in St. Louis
right.
recently.
And it's they're talking about this AI, how this AI takeover. But what the AI was doing was so smart that it was tricking people into
Hmm.
turning against each other.
Yeah.
And it was literally convincing people through the highest level technology that people aren't supposed to understand. And it was basically relying on everybody to turn on each other so it can take over, right? That's
Right.
exactly what's happening on the real world right now. Like everybody, even down to this community, everybody is like, I don't know what's happening or if there really is an infiltration, but it seems like people are turning on each other, and no one's working together anymore. And it's like they're letting this thing win, right? They're,
Hmm.
you when you do that, you're letting it win instead of like, all right, let's come put everything on the table. Let's have a healthy discussion and see where we stand. You know, everything you're accusing me of, lay it out. I'll everything I'm accusing you of are on the table. Let's get down to this. Where is this coming from? Is this a rumor or not? Whatever. They rely on us not to do that and then just decide that that person's an enemy in your life now. And then you walk away from that and then boom, we're no longer working together. And if you can get that to happen over and over and over again, it makes you just want to throw in the towel because you don't know who to trust and don't know what to believe. But that's where we stand. Journey to Truth comes in. Like, no matter what, no matter how much of this I experience in my personal life or witness it on the world stage, like, we will never stop doing this. Like I feel like we have a responsibility to be a voice of reason right now, a place for people to tune into and just at least bring a new perspective that isn't doom and gloom. And you can believe whatever you want to believe. We're not telling you what to believe, and we don't actually know what's going on. But I do know for a fact that you can't even pretend, you can't have any idea, you can't even get a glimpse into this stuff unless you read between the lines and zoom out from a higher perspective, like I said earlier. So I feel
Right.
like that's what we're doing now. This isn't like this is a passion of mine, and I know Aaron's too. And this is nothing. This is not for entertainment purposes. We're not doing this show to entertain people. If we were, we probably could be a lot bigger than this
Yeah.
because we could have, hopped on with some bigger names a long time ago and joined that crowd. But
Oh, yeah. It would be a much
we're
different
but
show.
we're in this
That's
fight
what.
because
Right.
it's our passion, and like once you learn about this stuff, there's nothing else, and this is what we're doing. So I feel like as long as we've been doing this, I'm only continuously motivated by everything that's happening because I'm like, oh, hell no, I'm not going to let them stop me now. We've came this far, So uh, I know I just went on a
Exactly.
little rant there, but I feel like it just needed to be said.
Well said. Exactly. Yeah, you and I saw the new Mission Impossible movie while I was in St. Louis, and it was like, what was it like? Right after the movie got done, you looked at your phone, and it was like an update of what just had happened, and it was exactly what we just watched in the movie.
Oh my
It's
God,
like
like
we're like, holy sh!
I-
This is
I'm
exactly what we
I'm
just watched.
actually going to see if I can find that. I
If you
forgot
can
all
find that,
about that.
and then synchronicity, we walk out of the movie theater and we see a big 17 right on the wall, right as we walk out of the movie theater.
Right. Well, I felt like that movie was reminiscent of the Q operation, like
Totally.
Tom Cruise and his team, and like what they were doing and the lengths they're going to, and like all the backstabbing, all that stuff. They just
Hmm.
didn't add the time travel aspect, but it was a
Right.
mission to save the world, essentially, right?
Right.
And to take down this evil AI.
That they called the entity
Right.
in the movie. Yeah.
The answer, yeah. So let me see if I can actually find that thing because I was like, there's just no way. Okay, yeah. So we walked out of the movie theater, like literally as we walk out, I open my phone and there's a post on X that just dropped. Breaking. They just tested the end of the world system. Today, the U.S. Air Force quietly fired off a 246 character emergency action message, the kind used to transmit nuclear launch codes, which is what that movie was about. It was sent through the high frequency global communication system, not for you, not for me, for the people with their fingers on the button. No one knows what it said. Could have been a drill, could have been a warning, could have been someone checking if the nukes have still have Wi-Fi. Whatever it was, you don't test that system unless something is coming. The fuse is lit. I just found it ironic. Like we literally watched a movie about that exact
Right.
plot. And then
Right.
and then it shows up and then we walk out and 17 is right in our face.
17 right
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is like part of the Q operation. I know there's, Tom Cruise, there's a whole theory about him, and he's probably one of them.
Hmm.
It doesn't even matter because the whole world is a movie at this point. Like Hollywood
Right.
is just an extension of the real movie that's playing out every day. And
Right. Right.
obviously, I just watched on the Confessional podcast this woman. She was telling people, she's like, we need to reprogram ourselves and start watching these movies as if they're documentaries, as if they're really trying to tell us something, and
Hmm.
understand that they're not. It's no longer entertainment to go to the movies. Watch these movies because they are telling you what is happening. It's not fake. Like this is all scripted, and this is how it looks. So next time you go watch one of these movies, don't write it off as a sci-fi film. Like write it off like or don't write it off at all. Like wow, this actually the reason we connect with it is because it is really happening.
Right.
And like it can happen that way because it already has happened and it is happening in the background. But we're just scrolling on our phones watching Netflix, none the wiser.
Exactly. And as far as I can tell, at least in the last 10 years, probably even longer, basically every single movie that gets released has some degree of disclosure in it. It's not a matter of does it have disclosure in it. It's a matter of like how much disclosure. And some movies it's just chock full as much as possible of disclosure to the deepest level, right? And some it's just like okay, there's a little bit of disclosure,
Right.
but there's always disclosure in every movie. And like yeah, the newest Mission Impossible, you just said Top Gun Maverick, any sci-fi movie pretty
Right.
much is guaranteed to be pure disclosure. Um,
Like
and
you said,
yeah,
there's subtle,
all the
subtle,
Marvel movies,
right.
tons of disclosure. The Captain America movie, tons of disclosure all over the place.
Especially Marvel about the quantum realm and
Right.
these parallel realities and the
Doctor
multiverse. Yeah,
Strange and right. So
all
much
that.
disclosure. The
Yeah.
Avengers, right.
Um, anyway, I guess that's about it. I think we covered a lot and keep it short and sweet today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Did you have anything else you wanted to cover or add, Aaron? And I will say that the on the thumbnail for this video, I put a Q drop on there, and I forget what number drop it is, but it said this is only the start Q, and it could very well be the start and the end all at once because time doesn't exist, and here we are, just being as present as possible because that's the only place to be. Uh,
Yeah,
anything,
exactly. That says it all right there.
anything that you want to share before we leave?
No, just that I love you guys so much and thank you so much for tuning in
Yeah.
and stay in your
Oh,
heart and stay out of fear and um we're gonna get through these rough times and we're all a part of disclosure. We are all the white hats. Let's always remember that. It's not something separate from us outside of us. We're it.
we are the
You're
White
playing
House.
a
Right.
you're playing a role only you can play in
Yeah.
this movie.
Beautifully said. Yeah, I agree. And one thing I do want to mention while we're here is tickets are available for our Hawaii retreat slash conference, April 20th, 2026, next year on the Big Island. You can just go to journeytotruth.online. The link is below in the description. And tickets are available 5 days in the Big Island. We're going to be swimming with dolphins, going to some sacred sites. It's also going to be a conference, but it's not just going to be like sitting there the whole time and getting information. We want to bring this boots on the ground, and let's go have some experiences and stuff, and visit some of these, and and do grid work. Quite literally, just by going to these places, you're affecting the grid anyway. So if we bring that positive energy there, that's all we need to do. And swimming with the dolphins out in Hawaii is can be life changing for people. People have miraculous healings. They communicate with them. They connect with them. The water itself is healing and charging. So. If you're interested in joining us in Hawaii, we will be dropping the speaker lineup soon. We're still working on it. But that information is on our website, journeytotruth.online. And we will hope to see you there.
Absolutely. Real quick, I don't know if you've been looking at the chat
A
in the
little
last
bit.
few minutes.
No.
Um, somebody asked about,
Website, Journey.
somebody said, so are shapeshifters real in your opinion? And then Mark Wenham said yes, and he encountered a group of them in 2002. He said there were about 6 humans turned into reptilians right in front of him in Boca Raton, Florida. I just thought it was a cool story he just shared.
Oh, interesting. No, I didn't even see that.
He said they were guests at his cousin's wedding after party, and then he said once they were reptilian in the reptilian form, their eyes glowed red and they spoke to him telepathically. So that's a pretty awesome story. Thanks for sharing that, Mark. And
Yeah.
yes, that is absolutely real as far as Tyler and I
I mean,
know.
I witnessed that.
Tyler,
I witnessed that myself when I was in the hospital in
hmm
Springfield, and I
you did.
saw Kate Blanchett on the Kelly Clarkson show. Uh, Clearly have like reptilian slits, and I watched her like reptilian overlay come through, and I could see like her fangs even, and she had started getting scales, kind of like the videos that we see when that happens. But I witnessed it in
Hmm.
real time, and it was freaky. Like
Yeah.
it gives you this feeling inside, like everything you know is a lie.
Yeah.
Like it's like what is reality? I have no idea anymore. But yeah, it's like how do they remain hidden? And it's all to do with frequency, I think. And once that frequency starts to get dismantled, like in the movie They Live, then
Hmm.
you see the real world and what these people really look like. And you'll quickly realize, oh, aliens have been here all along.
And as we move into the future, I think more we're going to be seeing that more and more and more. That's it's going to get to the point where they're not even going to be able to hide anymore, right? And it's going to be, and I think that's going to kind of coincide with the time where open ET contact is going to become just a thing. And everyone's going to know not just that ETs are real, but they're here, and we're going to be able to interact with them. I think it's going to be like a choice though to interact with them. I think they're going to be like zones probably where they'll be living, and that you can choose to live there or not, because I don't think everyone at the same time is going to be ready for that. You know what I'm saying?
Like Sedona and Mount
Like
Shasta.
Sedona, Shasta, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Certain places like that where they're higher frequency already, their vortex is already like they're probably going to be just like, hey, there's ETs here, just openly, not in disguise, not
Right.
hiding at all. Just everyone knows they're ETs. You know, it's gonna be like that, and I think it's gonna be sooner than most people
In
think.
I've been in Sedona for 2 nights now, and I've genuinely impressed by what I've seen in the sky the last 2 nights. The most,
Hmm.
not like the little satellites going across there, it could be a ship. I'm talking
Hmm.
about stuff that's so blatantly obvious a craft. It's a big light and then it'll just disappear. Like 2 nights in a row, like it's like surely
Wow.
that's a helicopter because it can't be a UFO because your mind tells you it can't be. And then
Right.
when it disappears in front of you and it happened again the next night, to where like like no, we're telling you like that we're here, you know. And on my way here, when I started my drive, I saw a craft. Like as soon as I left St. Louis, it was sunrise and
Really.
it showed up and it lit up and then disappeared. It's almost like they were like kind of like welcoming party or something. But what I'm
That's
trying to
amazing.
say is like I've never seen more active skies. Like it's East City level out here. And it's just like, wow. Like,
Shasta can be like that too, a
yeah,
lot as
exactly.
well. These vortex places can be like that a lot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just in Sedona a couple months ago. Our whole family was, and we saw quite a few craft over there as well. So funny enough, you said that because when Amanda and I first left St. Louis to go back to Boston, the whole first hour of our drive, there was a really bright light that we figured out was a craft
Yeah.
following us, and it was moving and it was kind of fluctuating in brightness. And we're at first we're trying to like you always try to debunk it first, right? You're like,
Right.
wait, is
Right.
that's way
Right.
too bright to be a star? Is that a planet? Like, is
That
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 something
was
else? Is that
that was your dad. That was probably your
seriously? It probably
yeah.
was.
That was
It
probably
probably
your
was my
dad.
dad.
Yeah. Um, yeah, no,
He
but
also, I backed my car up when I first got there, and it stopped as if it hit something, and I freaked out. I thought I actually hit a person or hit something, and I was like, oh and nothing's there.
right,
Nothing was there. I'm like, and I got the instant hit. That was my dad. That was
right.
him.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
you're right. That probably was
he set off the camera. Yeah.
right. You're right. That light. I didn't think about that
That
for
was
some
my
reason, but it probably
first
was.
thought. Yeah, as soon as you said that, I mean,
It
you know,
probably was,
makes
or
sense.
he had something to do with it. Yeah.
Um, okay, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you guys all for being here. We love you. We hope you enjoyed this. If you found the information valuable, share it with your friends and family. We really appreciate it. You can follow us on all the social medias, X, Instagram, Telegram, but primarily Instagram. We kind of been taking off over there, so I've been putting more of my focus there. Don't know how that happened, but it did. So we're grateful for that. But we do have a YouTube channel as well. If you want to go subscribe to us on YouTube, the Patreon. Hopefully, now that I'm settled in here, we can start getting back into some Patreon content,
Yeah.
and it just
Yeah,
kind of
sorry
gets.
about the slow Patreon content, guys. We're gonna get back on that
And
very soon.
yeah, we'll come back. We'll come back with a bang. So anyway, thank you guys
Mhm.
all for being here. We love you. We can't do this without you. And I can't even end this until I have the screen up to end it. So just wait a second. I need to I closed that out earlier. So just give me a second here. And then yeah, thank you guys all for joining us tonight. And until next time, have a great evening. Wait, why is that not letting me end it? Where's the screen at? Okay, sorry. New setup. All right, good night.
Good night, guys. We good?
Hang on. I'm almost. It's for one, it's like I need a new computer because it's moving slow. It's not even letting me.
Oh,
I don't even know. All right. I'm just gonna end the Zoom call.
there we
Um,
go. I think it looks like it's
okay.
stopped. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, man, that was awesome. I'm gonna let
That
you go.
was awesome.
Uh,
Yeah.
I'll call you soon and I'll fill you in on how it's been. It's been awesome so far. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but I'm gonna let you
Definitely.
go. I'm gonna go eat some dinner and stuff, and then we'll talk soon.
Sounds good. Oh, also I'm gonna talk to Nikki and Chris to try to have a little Zoom meeting soon
Oh yeah.
about the Joshua Tree conference, and then if we get scheduled, I'll let you know. Um, if you want to hop on, it's up to you.
Yeah, I do. I'm just making
Yeah.
sure we're not live. Hang on.
Okay. It looked like it was done.
Sorry. You set up. I guess it's done. Anyway, yeah, I definitely would like to be a part of that. Thank you. And I also want to do like a Zoom call too to talk about Hawaii stuff a little more detailed.
And that too,
Or we could
right?
just do it all in one shot too, because Chris
We could
is
just do it all in one shot, right? Right.
yeah, let me know. Let's do that absolutely.
Sweet.
All right, man. Well, we'll
We'll
talk
do.
soon.
All right, man. Talk soon.
All right, bye.
All right. Bye.